Even the world's most powerful supercomputer cannot mine XLM. You know why? Well, not just this question, but we will explore some other aspects of crypto as well in this video. And this video is made as simple as possible without the non-technical terms, so even a 5-year-old could understand it. But before we start this video, it would be great if you could just hit that subscribe button. It might not be a big deal for you, but it is a great support for us. Without further ado, let's get into the video. We are all familiar with the term blockchain and consider blockchain as a place where data is stored. And there are so many blockchains out there like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Stellar. Now these blockchains uses various methods to create permanent records of the transaction. And since these permanent records are shared and has the information that is accurate and something that we can rely on, that's why this data needs to be verified before it is being stored on the blockchain. And there are various methods to verify that particular data, whether it is correct or not. And this verification of data or transaction before it is being stored, it is known as consensus mechanism. And consensus mechanism is the defining feature of a blockchain. Now, all the blockchains out there has different consensus mechanisms, like Bitcoin has proof of work, Ethereum 2.0 has the proof of stake, and Stellar has Stellar consensus protocol or the proof of agreement. Now let's explore these consensus mechanisms one by one. So first, let's go with the proof of work, which is for the Bitcoin. It is the original blockchain consensus mechanism, and consensus is achieved through mining. Now you might be able to connect the dots with Bitcoin mining. Basically, in Bitcoin mining, miners set up different rigs and hardwares to help the blockchain reach consensus. By consensus, I mean that the nodes are able to agree on the correctness of the information that is being passed on the blockchain. Suppose person A is sending 100 bitcoins and person B is receiving those 100 bitcoins. Now the hardware set up by the miners will do the complex calculations of all the transactions happening on the blockchain and check whether the particular transaction is correct or not. They will check whether the person sending 100 bitcoin to someone else, does that person even have 100 bitcoins in the first place? If they don't have it, then the transaction will not happen in the first place. And this way, all the records will be there of all the transactions happening, and each transaction will be checked thoroughly before it is getting into the permanent records of that particular blockchain. And this gives excellent security to Bitcoin, but it also gives high energy consumption to our world. That's why the climate supporters were against the Bitcoin mining. Do you know, before the first Bitcoin halving, miners used to receive 50 Bitcoins as the incentive. And after the 2024 Bitcoin halving, they will be receiving around 3.125 Bitcoins as the incentives. If you want to know more about the Bitcoin halving, you can check out the video of Bitcoin halving on our channel itself, and it has more insights about it. Now let's move on with proof of stake. In proof of stake, a person has to hold or stake a certain amount of native cryptocurrency. This person is known as validators, and this person receives the transaction fees on a random basis. That's why if someone holds more amount of native crypto, there are more chances of receiving the transaction fees, and that's why in proof of stake, the person who holds the most amount of native gets the most benefits out of it. And I hope now you are able to connect the dots why there are so many organizations out there that are trying to get different users to stake with them. So actually they are the one who are receiving these benefits out of these proof of stake blockchains, and then trickling these benefits down to the other users that are staking with them. But it is also giving these organizations a powerful say in the governance of that particular ecosystem. And now let's see the proof of agreement. In proof of agreement, it is not the monetary wealth which is given the importance. Rather, it is the wealth of trustworthiness which is given the importance. And only the trustworthy nodes are allowed in the consensus making. And that's why the decision making is quite fast on proof of agreement, and the efficiency is there. That's why there are high number of transactions per second and the fees is low. And there is no need of staking or mining on this method of consensus making. There are very fast series of messages among the participants of consensus making. And even if some wealthy person tries to get into the consensus making, they will not be able to manipulate the record keeping of that particular blockchain that uses the proof of agreement, because the majority of that particular consensus making participants will be agreeing on some other results. That's why the manipulation will not be there. And another great feature of this kind of consensus making is that the impact on environment is minimal. And we all know what Earth is going through. So this kind of consensus making protocol might be the future of blockchains. So in order to participate in the consensus making of proof of agreement, one has to earn the trust, as it cannot be purchased from supermarket. Now the classic example of proof of agreement is Stellar Consensus Protocol, and it is the backbone of Stellar. Now you know why XLM cannot be mined even on a supercomputer. Well, due to Stellar Consensus Protocol's adaptability, it gives various functionalities to Stellar, like cross-border payments and asset exchange and tokenization. And we all know how big digitalization was. Now the narrative is being set for tokenization, and it is quite important. And let me give you an example how tokenization can help. So in earlier days, the land frauds were quite rampant, and they are even today. People with malicious intentions create fake documents of the land and grab it from the good people out there. So it becomes quite hard for that person to prove the ownership of that particular land. But suppose this particular transaction has happened on the blockchain, then not only the transferring of ownership would be easy, but it would be quite easier for the buyer to check out the history of that particular property and also the info related to the past owners. So this was just one example how it is going to help us in future, and there are many functionalities and usabilities for this particular technology. And I hope this particular video was helpful in understanding the crypto and specifically the Stellar Consensus Protocol and all the other methods of consensus mechanism. And in case if you want to see more such fundamental videos related to crypto and also the airdrop videos and all sort of information related to crypto, then make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn the notifications on, and smash that like button. See you in the next video.